Hello everyone and welcome to another video that nicely demonstrates, hopefully, that chess is the greatest game there ever was and will be. It's a game from the second day of the Aimchess preliminaries, Rapport versus Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and it's a game that lasts only 16 moves, but it's such a masterpiece that I feel privileged to even show it to you guys. So let's dive straight into it. The Rapport has the white pieces and he opens with e4. We have e5 by Mamedyarov, knight to f3, knight to c6, and now not an Italian game or the Rui Lopez or even the Scotch, but rather g3. This is the Konstantinopolsky variation, and it can serve as a surprise against many opponents, but on the other hand, you do give up the advantage of playing white because it's, well, if black knows what black is doing, it's very easy to equalize this. So here, knight to f6, pawn to d3, and the immediate pawn to d5. Mamedyarov says, if you don't want the center, I am grabbing the full center. E captures on d5, and now not knight captures on d5. There are a lot of games with knight captures on d5, but rather queen captures on d5. And there are only a few games where this was played. Bishop to g2 now. It's very easy to pick up a tempo on the queen, so that's why knight captures on d5 is better. Bishop to g2, and now pawn to e4. And this is not a new move, but it's been played only in one game. Here, usually people play bishop g4 or bishop to b4 check, but e4 has been played only once in the Yugoslavian Team Championship of 1990 between Sava Nikolic and Dragan Perovic, that ended by black winning this game. So it's I don't know if this game came as an inspiration to Mamedyarov, because this move is definitely not recommended by the engine. So okay, Rapport, and of course it is now as of move 6 that we have a no, it's not, sorry. Here in that game knight to g5 was played, but here knight to c3, and it is now as of move 7 that we have a completely new game. So the queen is attacked before you figure out what to do with the knight. Bishop to b4, Mamedyarov pins the knight, and now knight to g5, preparing to pick up the e4 pawn at some point. Bishop to g4, attacking Rapport's queen here, queen d2, and now bishop captures on c3. As now once queen d2 is played, the knight is no longer pinned. Now this is a threat. So bishop captures, b captures on c3. If black castles queenside, you will have the b file for your rook, and now Mamedyarov does exactly that. He castles queenside and Richard castles kingside, and as usual when we have castles of opposite sides, it's definitely going to be a race. So here knight to e5. Notice that you can never capture here because both queen and rook are attacking the d2 square. So Mamedyarov could, Rapport could play something like queen e3, but he goes for c4, which is also fine. Queen to d4, attacking the rook on a1, and now just rook to b1, as that is what you want to do here. We have h6 attacking the knight, and now what you want to do is play knight captures on e4. It doesn't seem like you want to do this, because after knight captures and knight captures, you can't really capture back. Because there's a problem with the queen hanging, and also if bishop captures here, then the problem is just queen captures, and after pawn captures, there's not the immediate captures, but knight to f3 with check, king to g2, and now knight captures on d2 with check, and black is just much better here, up a full piece and completely winning. So what you would have to do here after this captures is play queen to b4 now. Now you're threatening the b7 pawn, and next you can capture on e4, and this is perfectly fine. Probably something like queen to b6, then bishop captures on e4, and the game continues. Nothing spectacular happening here. But after h6, Rapport said, all right, I'm going to play queen to b4 first, and then I'm going to do something with the knight. Also makes sense, as Mamedyarov has to do something about that b7 pawn. But does he really? That's the big question here. So feel free to pause the video and try to find an absolutely crushing move for white here while I give you for black here while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on realizing that you can allow queen captures on b7, and for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, h captures on g5. This is the only move that gives black the winning advantage, and Mamedyarov played it. So what happens now? Okay, queen captures on b7. This is what you paid the price for. King to d7, and now it's again very hard to continue this game, but here bishop to b2. And it makes sense. Attacks the queen. If the queen moves to a weird square, the knight on e5 hangs. I mean, if the position opens up, the king is on d7. Many threats are lurking here. But as well, we now have this position on the board. We also reach the position from the thumbnail, as this is where Mamedyarov just played rook captures on h2. Absolutely spectacular move. We can even show it in slow motion. Look at this. Rook captures on h2. Absolutely stunning. And he was in this position on move 16 that Richard Rapport resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. I mean, absolute masterpiece. This is what you want to print out and hang on your like refrigerator and on your bedroom wall, or just absolute masterclass. The problem is there's nothing for you to do. If you capture the queen here, then it's a forced checkmate in 10 moves, or maybe less, depending on how good you are. Rook captures on g2 check, king captures and bishop to f3 check, king to g1, and now just rook to h8. And there's no defense against rook to h1 checkmate. This is all forced. You will have to parry a few checks, for example, queen c6 check, pawn to c6, queen to b7 check. Well, now you move the king, and now there are no more useful checks. Next is rook to h1. This is just unstoppable. And it doesn't even help if you don't capture the queen, because this is still a threat. The queen side has nothing to do with this game whatsoever from this point on. The problem is, even if you play something like rook f to e1, you free up the f1 square for the king, doesn't matter. Just rook captures on g2. King captures, and now the sensational bishop to h3 with check. And you don't have a good reply. If you capture with the king, just queen captures on f2, and next rook to h8 just ends the game. That's pretty much it. And if you don't capture the bishop, you could play something like king to g1. Now comes knight to f3 with check, king to h1, and now just rook to h8, threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries, like bishop to f1 would be mate in 1. So white could try and stir some trouble here, let's say queen to b5 check, but there's the absolutely disgusting king to d8. And look at this, queen to b8 check. Seems like you've lost a rook, but nope, bishop comes to the rescue. Bishop back to c8 to the starting square, opening up a check from the rook, blocking check from the queen. King g2, rook h2 check, king to f1, and rook captures on f1 checkmate. So absolutely brilliant. And not only is Mamedyarov playing brilliant chess in this tournament, but he's also doing very well on the general standings after 2 days of rapid play. These are the standings. So Nodirbek Abdusattorov leading with 17 points in sole lead, followed by 16 points Shakhriyar Mamedyarov and Magnus Carlsen with 15 points, Jan Krzysztof Duda and Arjun Nergaisi, who defeated Magnus Carlsen in a very nice game. Then with 12 points, Vincent Kamara, Nishigiri, and Gukesh. Those are the top 8 for the moment, as only the top 8 proceed to the main event of the Aimchess Rapid. And then from 9 to 16, we have Richard Rapport, Vidit Gujarati, Aditya Mittal, Daniel Naroditsky, David Anton Giharo, Eric Hansen, Pentala Harikrishna, and Niels Grandelius for the moment in last place. So brilliant game, brilliant stuff by Mamedyarov. I'm looking forward to what masterpiece he will deliver on the third day of the Aimchess Rapid Preliminary. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, he's having a very good event. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Ashish Jayaraman, Duncan Whitehall, Women Life Freedom, Lord of Chess, and Anderson Vera for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this wonderful event and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.